welcome. You're watching Medically Speaking, and I am Meenakshi Upreti. It's Women's Day, a day which we celebrate and talk about every year. But here on Medically Speaking, today we will be talking about women's health issues, women's health, which is often neglected, mostly never talked about. Today, I have experts from all fields. I have specialists, doctors, experts who will help us understand our bodies better, who will help us understand really on how we as women can take care of ourselves better. Women always give. Perhaps it's time that we take out some time for ourselves and think for ourselves. I'd like to welcome all my panelists, starting with Dr. Uma Kumar, Head Rheumatology, AIMS. I also have Dr. Suman Bhaskar, Professor from AIMS, Dr. Ruchi Malhotra, Senior Gynecologist, Dr. Suman Lal, she's Senior Gynecologist from Max, and I also have Dr. Manjari Tripathi. She is a Professor of Neuro, Head Unit from the AIMS. Thank you, all of you, from joining us, on NewsX. I'm going to start first of all with you, Dr. Kumar. Ma'am, as far as women are concerned, at a certain age, it's seen very commonly. My mother complains of it every day. My knees ache, my joints ache. Why does it happen? Is it because they don't take care of themselves when they are pregnant, when they have children, when they are breastfeeding, lack of calcium? Why is this problem so common in Indian women, ma'am?
So it's not only joint pains or backache, which is common in women. There are other issues also which are very common in women. But unfortunately, women's health is thought to be only reproductive health, not other comorbidities or other problems women face. But as you pointed out, women suffer more with musculoskeletal problems. And there are many, many reasons for that. We all know women end up ignoring themselves. If they have some issue, they take some medicine and kind of get into work. That's one. Second, they don't pay attention to their diet. Okay, whether whatever they are eating is increasing their weight or they are getting nutritious diet or not, they're just not bothered about it, right? It's just work and work and work for them. And third, I feel that the way they work, at home or if in their office, their posture, their way of sitting, working on the computer, that also contributes tremendously to their aches and pains in life, and even their emotional health, right? Because you must be knowing that when one is very depressed, low, then feels more, pains and aches here and there, headache and backache and all that.
Yeah.
So I think that also contributes tremendously to the aches and pains one feels in life.
Well, absolutely. And you specifically spoke of diet. Dr. Suman Lal, if you could come in here, ma'am, as a senior gynecologist, what would you tell women today? Perhaps those who are between 25 to 40. Those are actually our viewers as well. What sort of dietary changes, lifestyle changes, which women of today's day and age need to make to ensure that they live a healthy life? We all speak of equality. The theme this time is equality. But why is it when it comes to health, we forget the theme of equality? Our priority is always our husband, our kids, and we put ourselves, in the back. The women are in the back seat.
Yeah, that's very important issues for the women, because they take care of family, they take care of a spouse and children, but generally they don't take care of themselves. There are two categories of women nowadays. The one in the women, they are under nutrition, and they generally don't take any nutrients in their diet because of they are not getting money, or they are not really bothering for their health. Mm-hmm. Second category is like that, working, stressed out, and they can't take care of themselves. Whatever junk food they are getting and they eat. So there are two types of women nowadays, and we have to take care of for both the types. The women should think positively for their health. Important is that they have to start calcium in their diet from very beginning, because we know that as the age advances, they will have the calcium and vitamin D deficiency. And we are having lots of girls who are coming with the vitamin D deficiency. So that they have to incorporate in the diet calcium and vitamin D rich food.
Okay.
It is they are having natural loss of the blood, and therefore iron is very important in their diet, and they should supplement with the diet. There's no need to take the supplement by the medicine, but yes, they can take by the diet.
So, ma'am,
Because,
since you
yeah.
spoke of supplementing, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting you here as well because we have about 20 minutes and I want to just pack in as much information as I can for our viewers. Since you're speaking, ma'am, of supplementing, our diet, Dr. Tripathi, you're an expert really in the neurosciences. Would you suggest people supplement? Because yes, in today's day and age, I think Dr. Malhotra very rightly explained that there is really a two categories: one who want to remain look great, they are very career oriented, perhaps can't take out enough time for their diet. Supplementing, what could be the side effects as well of iron, calcium, vitamin D and other supplements, because we may not be able to incorporate all of this in our diet because of course the priority on women is low, and sometimes of course interest and knowledge level also pretty low.
Yeah, this is a very good question. So there are two things about this. One is the natural food and one is the supplements. Now, it's best to have a balanced meal and a balanced diet. And food is something that cannot be made at the drop of the hat. So it's always better to have a meal plan. And this meal plan you should make a day before or 2 days before, as to, if you want to have sprouts on Wednesday morning, you're going to soak them at least 3 or 4 days before. So if you have a meal plan calendar as to, okay, these are the iron rich foods I'm going to have: spinach, I'm going to have saag, I'm going to have raw bananas, I'm going to have this which is great in calcium like sesame seeds, thoda bhoon ke with salt and chili in it, or I'm going to have flax seeds to control my triglycerides or whatever it is. I'm going to have chia seeds to control my gastritis. So it's better to have all these ingredients at home, make a plan and then carry it out. Vis-a-vis supplements. Now, supplements is really something which is on the go. It's quick. You can just pop it into your mouth and walk away. I take calcium supplements because I know I do not cherish, or I do not really like swallowing a glass of milk or 2 glasses of milk in a day. So I rather pop a calcium supplement. And nowadays, most of the calcium supplements have, additional vitamins in it. So for us, we are working women and we take either an alternate day or maybe daily sometimes calcium supplements and vitamins. It's perfectly normal, particularly when you're sacrificing that component of nutrient in your diet. So I know I'm sacrificing milk in my diet and I need to replace it with that. But however, if I'm taking a lot of greens, then I don't need to overdo by taking iron supplements, because that's going to cause little tummy upsets and those kind of things. So really you need to balance it out. You need to talk to your doctor, you need to talk to a nutritionist, you need to read a lot, because now you have almost nutritional value of all plants. For simple, the simple thing which our grandmother used to feed us is moringa leaves.
Yeah.
And we know that the nutritional value of this moringa leaf is so high. So really, when you know it and you have it in the environment, there's no reason that you should not be using it than just cooking potatoes and something else which is not as nutritious as maybe these power-packed food elements, which even have been recognized by the Poshan Abhiyan of the Ministry of Health. So really, one needs to not just look at what goes into our mouth as something which is filling our tummy, but one needs to look at that substance which enters into our tummy as something which really is going to enhance not only our memory, not only our performance, not only our our blood,
Point
not
taken.
only
Point taken.
So it has to be an overall
It has to have an
nutrition.
overall holistic experience, and it should not just be taken from the point of view, of course, of filling ourselves. Dr. Malhotra, I didn't want to dedicate so much time just on diet, but since we're on the topic, before I move on, veganism also is a reality of today's life, and Dr. Tripathi spoke about the nutritional value of plants. I asked this also because personally I was also a vegan for about 2 years. There are a lot of misconceptions. People believe that calcium deficiencies can happen. Would you say for women, plant-based diets, a yes or a no?
Plant-based diet is something which I think everybody should adopt, because that is what keeps your digestion good, and it does have all the nutrients if it is taken properly. It is not that you really need to go and have eggs, or you really need to go and have other things. You can, if you are taking sufficient quantity, you can fill in your requirements. So I am all for vegan.
All right, I'm good. I'm glad I heard that. But to just take this conversation forward from your various, fields of expertise, Dr. Kumar, from your field of expertise, one by one, I'll ask you the same question. Actually, what are the common issues which you see in women's health related issues, and what are the common aches, complaints that women really come up to you with, and what would be a quick solution if you could give them?
Look, we get issues in women across their ages, like from I would say teenager to elderly, 90-year-old, right? And the commonest problem they have is, as you rightly pointed out at the very beginning, having aches and pains here and there, muscle pain, backache, headache, pains everywhere. And in majority of the cases, what we find that it resulting from because of some problem in their lifestyle, be it food, be it their physical activity. They are not getting appropriate proper sleep, they are stressed out, they have conflicts at home. And the other thing with what we come across, AIMS being a tertiary care center, is autoimmune diseases in women. And we all know autoimmune diseases are very common. In women. Yes. Because of their hormones, because of their genetic makeup. But people are not aware about it. And the problems they face are because of all these issues. There's difficulty in getting the girl married. If a lady is married, there's difficulty in conceiving. And even sometimes they come up and say that lady is facing the divorce risk. So then that puts up lots of pressure on her mental health. Because health is not about having physical ailment. It's about having physical, mental, and social. So all three components come into the picture. Then third thing I would say that, as you said, backache and having osteoarthritis, because this is one of the degenerative joint disease where knee pain starts around 40s, and having cervical problem, they develop vertigo. So I would say it's a long list of symptoms which they complain when they come to us. And I would like to mention something here. There's something called fibromyalgia, right? Where a lady complains of lots of pains and aches here and there. She is emotionally disturbed, but nobody is able to accept that because she does not have any objective sign of illness. Everybody says like she doesn't want to work. That is why she's saying that she has pain. So these are the kind of issues we see in our day-to-day practice.
And you rightly said, ma'am, Dr. Manjari Tripathi, just to take this thought forward, would you say that, mental health issues, and I'm not speaking of depression, but anxiety, even issues which women face, all of these can get exacerbated. They can, of course, lead to multiple issues which you can experience as you grow older. Are they ignored, first of all, in our society? And if yes, what could be the ramifications of the same?
So in this today's fast-paced world, nobody has time to even give cognizance to the fact that the thought process, the mentation and the mental, anxiety, depression, even neurosis, actually has a mechanism to it. So people just think, oh, it's just, gas. The person is just feigning or acting. But just like somebody has an asthmatic attack, similarly, the same nature is that of an anxiety attack or a panic attack. Now, in women at every stage of their life, whether it's adolescence, whether it's, when they're just going to college or they're working, whether it's when they want to study and they want to go ahead, but their family wants them to get married. So there's a pressure to get married, but the girl herself wants to go on and do something on her 2 feet. So there's a lot of anxiety and depression at that time also. And then, of course, if she gets married, then the onus of adjustment is on to that young girl, because they go to a new household. And, you're very well aware in India, you're not just marrying the husband. You are actually, you have to adapt to the whole family and the environment.
Yeah. And then there is a lot of pressure, which is not recognized.
There's no time. Nobody is sensitive to understand that, hey, this is the person who needs, compassion and consideration. It's not the rest of the family. She has changed the house. She has changed the way she's lived, and her parents may have, kept in a very comfortable environment. And now suddenly she's here
And
Sure enough, the environment there is good too, but she needs to adjust to the timings,
right.
to the demands, to everything else.
And that
So
consideration is not given, that can increase pressure, which can of course lead to all sort of mental
yeah,
health issues.
yeah.
And if unrecognized, of course, they can turn into something much bigger. Dr. Suman Lal, when we're speaking about women being the second priority, it isn't just when one gets married, it's also after childbirth. The focus, of course, shifts on the child, and many times the women are left behind. A lot of issues which women face post childbirth, even in the breastfeeding period. Tell us a little more about those, and what can really our viewers, what would be the suggestion you'd like to give new mothers, pregnant women, those who are watching our show on this Women's Day?
First thing is that if they will take care of themselves, they can take care of the baby. They should understand that good nutrition, they should be vocal about their problems, because so many times the women are not really vocal about their sexual desire. That is an important thing. They are forced to not to use the contraception. That is also important. They should go to the doctor and use the contraception properly, so that they will not land up in unwanted pregnancy. The third thing is important for the women. They are forced to not to plan the pregnancy on their own way. Generally, family wants that they should go for the pregnancy till they are not ready for the second pregnancy, that they should be aware of this, and this is the right of the woman. They should go to the doctor, they can discuss with them. That is important. For the breastfeeding, lots of lactational counselor are there, they can discuss with them. Women have fear if they will do the breastfeeding, they can have the breast cancer. In fact, it is not true. Rather, if the woman who is feeding the baby, they can have the less chance of breast cancer. They can feed the baby. Second fear is that the breast will be pendulous and they will be disfigured. That is again not really true. They can feed their baby with ease.
Well, absolutely. And nutrition and breastfeeding also go hand in hand, don't they, Dr. Kumar? Because there's a large amount of calcium also which one loses when you're breastfeeding a child. Help us understand really the importance of nutrition for a woman at a time when she is breastfeeding, especially considering we are discussing the same now.
Absolutely. Nutrition is anyway very important for women, and that is quite often ignored. What happens in households that a lady takes dinner when everybody has finished, right? So whatever is left over, she consumes it. That could be less or that could be more. So either way, that's bad to her health, right? And regarding calcium and vitamin D, I would like to tell you that one can have options. As Dr. Manjari rightly pointed out, there are too many options available, whether one is vegetarian or non-vegetarian. Yes, it's not every time possible to have a liter of milk to have, fulfill that quota of calcium requirement. And then sun exposure, which is also not that simple, because we are living in the world where we have lots of pollution, and even the sunshine which is reaching us is not what is desired, right? And one cannot be in that state of 80% exposure and then be in sun for half an hour. You can imagine what is going to happen to a lady, right? So, but yes, that's important. And we have lots of fortified foods available, which they consume. They get their quota of calcium and vitamin D, which is very important. Even the young girls are to be told that what they invest in their bones, in their health, they're going to reap the rewards later, right? Yeah. Because there's a cycle after 30. Anyway, whatever you have consumed or whatever way you have prepared yourself is going to show off, because after that there's a decline, right?
Yeah.
And the physical activity should be a very important part of anybody's life, because that also not only improves the circulation, your mood, but also improves your general well-being, right? And even the bones gets healthier, joints gets healthier, right? And all those habits of having very I would use
different life.
It
pays off it rewards later. Yes, ma'am. Point taken. I'm completely running out of time. Dr. Tripathi, I'm going to give the last word to you, ma'am. Since we're discussing lifestyles, can lifestyles also help us prevent neuro disorders in a later stage? I have just about 2 minutes remaining. If you could just keep this answer short, ma'am.
Absolutely. The lifestyle is very important. The diet, healthy oils, exercise, mental exercise, whether it's doing puzzles or reading or, walking or running or, gymming or aerobics, music, using your brain for Sudoku, puzzles, painting. All this are lifestyle factors, doing yoga, meditation, which can prevent dementia, which can prevent stroke, which can prevent neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, regular exercise and yoga. So really, there's a lot to do for prevention of neurological disorders if it's done early and it's done right.
Well, absolutely, and rightly said. So we've tried to touch upon various topics related to women's health, from, of course, their mental health, physical health, lifestyle changes, diet, breastfeeding, childbirth. It's been a rather quick and a very informative discussion. I think we'll have to continue this discussion. I may reach out to all of you separately, and we may hold separate discussions on your fields of expert. I think there's a lot of knowledge which we need to impart, of course, especially as far as women is concerned. Hopefully, we have been able to give out some information to our women viewers. That was the intention really of the show. And a very, very happy Women's Day to all of you. Thank you, all the experts, for joining us on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.